When you think of Jan Valentine, you immediately ask yourself the question, what happened to him that made him turn out like that? Well, in the past, Jan was a happy child. He lived with his family on a farm. He had a caring mother, a very involved stepfather, and a family dog. He liked the pigs the most and was also a big fan of the monkeys in the zoo. He even married his childhood sweetheart. Nobody understood what turned him into the person he is now. But let's put aside the past and focus on the present, because despite his relatively minor role in Hellsing, he's one of the most beloved characters of the franchise. And even more weirdly, the amount of smut fanfiction with him is completely off the charts. But I assume that there are two reasons for his popularity, which I'm going to go further into later, because for his story, we start in the beginning. We see the Hellsing Manor being approached by two strangely looking men. Turns out, this is a private property and they can't enter. Well, too bad, because they don't care. They are here for business only. The two men here are the Valentine brothers, Jan and Luke. Actually, they might not even be real brothers, due to a hint Hirano dropped at some point. And what you also didn't know is that this isn't actually their first appearance. They had their first appearance in 1997, in the Hellsing TV anime, which did not age so well. They are running an underground vampire strip club. Yes, the ones where you wear gas masks. But I'll take the goth techno vampires over modern vampires any day. But still, it's fascinating to see how a then most likely 40-year-old writer imagined the world of vampires. I mean, this isn't the first weird vampire story, and it certainly won't be the last. They get investigated by an undercover agent, which they easily identify as an Hellsing agent, and that's what's starting their plan to destroy the Hellsing family. But before we get even further into the timeline, we need to get real deep into the past, because their first real appearance was actually older than Hellsing itself. They were already in a short story called Legends of Vampire Hunter, where a proto-Jan Valentine, aka Hellman, and Luke were doing some ominous stuff to a proto-Saras, aka Private Yuri Kate, who was then rescued by proto-Alucard. He then killed them. Good story. And like many of Hirano's characters, these two, as you know, were also reused in Hellsing. Did you know that Jan is actually Kota Hirano's favorite character? And I think there are two reasons behind this. At first, it's of course a simple outfit. He is easy to draw, unlike his most hated character, Zoran Blitz, because of all the tattoos, and he's just so damn random. No need to build any kind of continuity. He can just do whatever he wants, and people won't critique his character building. Good stuff. But back to the story, they kill the guards and enter the Hellsing Manor with an army of armed ghouls. And while these ghouls are pretty stupid, they are pretty durable and pose a significant threat to the Hellsing staff. Their motivation? Well, it's not 100% clear, but Luke tells us that this is just an experiment for him. Well, with him he obviously hints to the Major, and experiment means two things here. At first, the experiment whether a physically superior vampire like Luke can defeat Alucard, which failed, and whether ghouls can be used effectively in combat. This is referenced in this speech from the Major, where he talks about creating monsters and arming them. It's also a major goal in Hellsing the Dawn, which is the Hellsing prequel. To explain the story, the Second World War is about to be lost, but can be turned around with an army of ghouls. Well, unfortunately this didn't work out for the Major, good for the Hellsing world, but the artificial ghouls just stopped working after some time, which made them pretty ineffective. These ghouls Jan commands here are different though. They are very durable and pretty much kill everyone in the Hellsing Manor, so this experiment can be considered a partial success. Also, they replicate, essentially creating a self-sustaining army, which is pretty good for them. But back to Jan. The thing with him is that he is just hilarious. People who only watched Abridged might think Hellsing is a serious show, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Hellsing is a show with a decent amount of humor, and what the English VAs did to Jan is truly a masterpiece. Starting with this.
Listen up, maggots! You know how the plan goes! You make the kill, you drink the spill! And if you run into Alucard or the Hellsing biatch, don't you quit until they're dead! Dead! Dead!
And everything else just follows naturally. There's no deeper purpose behind any of Jan's dialogue. He is just unhinged and in it for the love of the game. What a character. He then does something interesting.
Up, down, down, left, right. Bring in the motherfucking death by Konami. Oh, I'm so fucking hard right now.
In the Japanese dub, he says something more on the likes of God mode activated. If you didn't know, this is a reference to the Konami code, where when you enter this on a controller, you enter God mode, or at least get some kind of benefit. So a great game to show you this is Contra. So you see when I start the game, we start with exactly 2 lives. And when I lose a life, you'll see I die. Now let's restart the game and enter the Konami code. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA. Ah, it took a while, but you see 4 lives up there. And these are not actually 2, but as you can see, they're about 30 lives. And yeah, that's the Konami code. This is anime exclusive though. The next thing he does is just call Integra to mess with her. Is there a good reason for this? No. Is it fun for him? Well, make your guess. But maybe we underestimate Jan's intellect. When he finds some cigars, he of course has to try him and comes to a realization.
Fuck, these are some fine cigars. Like all bourgeois and shit. I mean, come on. That's just fucked up. People starving in the world, and she's wasting money on this. I think it's time someone gave her an old-fashioned working-class ass-kicking.
So, let me summarize. He is an athletic young man who criticizes wealth inequality and the elites. His fans are complete gooners and he is willing to use violence to achieve his goals. I'm not sure who this guy reminds me of. Well, I can't put my finger on it, so let's continue. Then we finally get some real action. Just before Jan can reach Integra and the round table, Walther interferes, and there you see the massive difference in ability. Even an aged Walther could easily defeat Jan. Also, if you listen to Walther's dialogue, it just shows that Walther is just as sassy as the rest of the cast. But still, Jan fights back, and you might think he got an angle here, but Walther just toys with him. The piercing scene you just saw is also anime exclusive. One thing that is not anime exclusive and manga only is the sponsor of this video, Manga Guardian. They offer the best accessories for your manga collection, book stands, displays and so much more. And with my code Sleepy15 you get 50% off your whole order. So thank you Manga Guardian for sponsoring the channel, links in the description and back to the video. After that, Sarah sneaks up on him and pins him down. This also blesses us with this scene from the Hellsing TV adaptation. The motion, the fluidity, masterpiece. Mwah. You can clearly see which version had more budget, but you can't deny which version had more style. But instead of giving up, Jan just messes with them. And when they see their dead colleagues turned into ghouls, he uses the shock moment to break free. Man's got a mission to complete. Completely unfazed by losing his arm, he rushes forward to at least finish up the round table. Well, what he didn't expect was that they are completely armed and ready to rumble. You just gotta love Integra and Islands here, all talk, full action. They then interrogate the half-dead vampire, only to realize that this one won't talk. And I guess that's why people love Jan. He just doesn't give a fuck about nothing. Torture him, he doesn't care. He's set on fire? Might have some fun and spoil the plot a little. He didn't at all care about the Major's plan or his brother's ambitions. He just wanted to have fun and go wild. And weirdly enough, this makes him more similar to the Major than most of the other Millennium members. Not in complexity of course, but in terms of their pure hedonistic enjoyment. Although the Major's a little more refined in his tastes. And that's pretty much where his story ends. Or does it? Well, he gets one last reference after the war in London, where you can see his head with the eye symbol. Also, sometimes the eye has a tear, sometimes not. Hirano is being inconsistent again, who cares? But this is not really the end. Hirano loved this character so much, so he did something extra. But before we get into the final verdict, we need to look at 2 more things. One important feature. What does the text on the ghouls' shields mean? Voodoo people murder people. Well, voodoo is just how the Japanese people pronounce voodoo.
Voodoo. Voodoo. Voodoo.
And Voodoo People is a reference to the Prodigy's track, Voodoo People. You know, I can't play music, but maybe I can show you a second without getting striked. It's not that deep, but the reference from the lyrics is clear. But there's another big open question mark. What's up with the eye on Jan's head? What does that mean? And the answer is probably more obvious than you think. Because you know where this eye is from? You can see it in the Hellsing logo. You can see it when Ceres has her first awakening. It's on Alucard's throne, and there are many more situations where the eye is present. Its meaning? Well, the third eye is a pretty popular concept in all different types of mysticism, where it stands for enlightenment, precognition, access to other planes of reality, and much more. If you look deeper into Hellsing, you will see references to the occult pretty much everywhere. Just take a look at Alucard's glove. All these symbols have a meaning, but this is a topic for another video. So yes, this is just an occult symbol which has so many origins that it is not really clear how to pin this down to one singular source. But after clearing this up and before we end this video, we have to talk about Jan's appearance after his official death. Hirano added some scribbles at the end of volume 3 and 10. These are just some crudely drawn gag comics, but you can clearly see how much fun he had with those two.
Okay, Sleepy from editing here, and I've been punked. So if you look at Hellsing volume 2, you're gonna see... So if you look, there we have it. These are the original comics. Volume 3. So good so far. But now when I go to volume 4, nothing. 5, nothing. 6, fucking nothing. In these versions, however, here we have him. And here we have him again. So, if you've been a German reader reading this stuff, you have been robbed. Seriously. Yeah, and that's why this part of the video is wrong. I'm still going to talk about the last one though. So, sorry for the little interruption.
So before I finish, I want to at least show their final words. That were the official last pages of the Hellsing volumes. It starts with some random chit-chat and ends in a formal goodbye, where they summarize the 10 most important news about the Hellsing manga, which we go over in order. So we start at number 10. There is an Hellsing TV anime, which we already knew. Luke learned to drink coffee. Jan didn't. You don't want to know my coffee consumption when I write these scripts after work, but good for him. Number 8. Luke went abroad the first time. Lots of foreigners. This is actually a reference, or at least most likely a reference, to Hirano leaving Japan himself to attend a con in America. It is not uncommon for Japanese people to never leave their country, so I see why he wanted to mention it. Number 6, 7, and 5. Umezaki died, Maya disappeared into the internet, and Takemi-chan was tortured and raped, and then pissed off. Well, this has nothing to do with Hellsing, and these are references that I couldn't find at all. Remember, this is from 2008, and could be referencing people in a time where the internet was a different place, and lots of sites that could give us information are dead, so sorry, no further details about this. Number 4. Death. This is a reference to the number 4 being called Shi in Japanese, which also means death. It's kind of an unlucky number. Number 3. He got a bouquet from Nakata-san, who is actually Alucard's voice actor. He compares it to getting a present from King Kashu. Who is that, you might ask? Well, that's a reference to an anime called Record of Lotus War, where Kashu is the mercenary king, a very well-liked character, and this can definitely be read as a compliment. Number 2. Hellsing OVA was released. Sorry to Ueda-san. Well, who was Ueda? Ueda was a producer that made most of Hellsing Ultimate happen. I can only imagine how hard that was to pitch to the higher-ups, but I would say it was worth it in the end. And come to number 1, well, number 1 is the existence of these two. I think it's quite funny that a minor character like Jan got so much love that he was the one to formally end the series and kinda acted as a mascot. But he certainly is one of the most memorable characters due to his complete derangement. But I think that's it for this video. Do you like Jan or find him rather annoying? But I still hope you liked this video. Check out Manga Guardian, thanks for sponsoring the video. And if you like videos like this, you should definitely check out the channel, so like and subscribe, and see you in the next one. Bye!